We're hearing a new reaction from lawmakers tonight after President Trump says Israel and Iran violated a ceasefire.
President Trump first announced that ceasefire about 24 hours ago. He said both Israel and Iran accepted a deal to bring their 12-day war to an end. However, in the hours after that announcement, there were reports of an attack and then a response from between the two countries.
We're hearing from U.S. Senator from Tennessee, Bill Hagerty, tonight, who serves on the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations. And he says the president has taken a tough stance against both Iran and Israel. Take a listen to what he said on Mix 104.
President Trump has been extraordinarily stern in terms of his response to that. He said these guys have been fighting so long they don't know what they're doing. I think what probably happened is that Israel already had, you think about missions already underway. They may have taken, and I hope this is it, their last shot to unload the last bit of ordnance that they had to inflict maximum damage before the ceasefire started to improve the negotiation posture. But I think President Trump has been very clear. He expects this ceasefire to hold. And these have been embittered enemies here, but this is now the time to stop and get to the table.
Senator Hagerty's viewpoint comes after our conversation with U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She made several posts online seemingly breaking from the party line about the U.S. involvement in the Middle East and involvement in foreign regime changes.
Greene told us MAGA Republicans are not a cult and she is free to express her own opinion. She also told us she still supports the president and his future actions.
News Channel 9's Lily Butler joins us now to tell us more after speaking with Greene yesterday. Lily.
Josh, Kim, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has been a loud supporter of the Trump administration, but in this post on X, she called the strike on Iran's nuclear sites a complete bait and switch, claiming it differs from promises in the MAGA agenda. But then I talked to Representative Greene the same day around 5 o'clock in the evening. Take a listen to what she had to say then.
What we campaigned on was no more foreign wars, not being involved in regime change.
6 hours after the Congresswoman's social media post saying only 6 months in and we are back into foreign wars, regime change, and World War III.
I think President Trump has clearly stated today, as he just put out on his Truth Social, that it's time for peace, and that's exactly what the American people want to see.
But some of Representative Greene's constituents say the president's decisions are not reflective of what the American people want. Catoosa County Democratic Party Chairman Rob Nolan says if she actually wanted to represent the views of her constituents, Representative Greene would confidently criticize the president's actions without immediately backpedaling to sing his praises.
I'm very pleased at his messaging that he put out today. As a matter of fact, just recently, that he is pursuing peace.
My discussion with the Congresswoman was just an hour and a half before President Trump announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Nolan called Representative Greene's post a light dusting of criticism for the president.
What about the attacks on the Iranian nuclear sites kind of differs or goes against some of the promises from President Trump's campaign?
Well, President Trump is the leader of the Republican Party. He's the leader of America First, and he created the MAGA agenda. And this is why I support President Trump. I've always supported him, and I fully support him now.
But the Congresswoman explained this part of her X statement.
MAGA is not a cult. We're a group of Americans, and we're allowed to have our own opinions. And we can still support President Trump while we may disagree with him sometimes. And that's what I was talking about.
Since the president announced a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, he has voiced some concern for how the two countries have handled the ceasefire agreement. Josh.
Lily, thank you. We have the full interview with Congresswoman Greene posted to her YouTube channel. Right now, you can scan the QR code on your screen to find and watch that full interview.